It's so fun to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been following you for about 10 years, and I'd say when I started out, I was in a fairly persistent negative mind frame. I had started a complex manufacturing business, and challenges in the business sort of were swirling in my mind. But since then, and through listening to your work, I've had so much positive momentum in terms of my friendships and my health and my creative outlets. And yet in the business, I find myself also feeling way more positive and inspired by it. It hasn't been easy financially, although we currently have really exciting things sort of circling around. So I find my energy split because on the one hand, I really want the momentum in the business, and I also really want to sell it because I want to be out from underneath the pressure. So
Come and buy from me this thing I no longer want.
What's that?
Your advertisement to the universe. Come and buy from me this thing I no longer want.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I'm going in both directions.
We really wanted you to hear that statement because that's not the advertisement that you mean to send, but it is the one that you're sending. So if you really have decided that you want to release it, making friends with it is to your advantage. A woman said to us one day about an ex-husband, which is sort of the same thing. I don't want to make friends with him. I don't even want to have lunch with him. She didn't want to look at any of his positive aspects because she feared that that would hold him to her. And we say attention to anything is what holds it to you. And so if you really want to release something, then focus on where you want to be, and it really helps to focus upon the positive aspects of anything you can, especially if you're wanting to positively attract someone else to it.
And even talking to you now, I'm like, but maybe what I really want is more momentum, more excitement in the business. I mean, there are cool things happening.
Well, that's why you haven't come to that decision, because you do have split energy about it. Of course, you've listened to us all day here today, and we know that you get it, that I want it, but I want it, but I want it, but just slows down your happiness and slows down your alignment and messes up your point of attraction. So you want to clean that up no matter what. Whether your decision is to let it go or keep it and build it and grow it, it doesn't matter what your decision is. You have to come into alignment with your inner being no matter what you decide to do about that. So it's not about the subject that you think it's about. It's about your own comfort knob. We acknowledge that sometimes something has run its course. Sometimes the momentum of something is unpleasant enough that the path of least resistance, meaning the path to your greatest comfort, is to let it go. We're not saying you should always hold to everything, but we are saying if you could step back from the decision to do something you're not ready to do yet and make a decision to find your comfort where you are, then the perfect decisions will flow to you later on. So you don't have to say, I'm going to sell it or I'm going to keep it. You can just say, I want to feel good more of the time, which could mean just focus upon all those positive things you say that are going well. But when something consumes a lot of your time, sometimes the path of least resistance is for one person to go one way and another person to go another way. But if it's your child, that's rarely a comfortable decision. But that doesn't mean that sometimes it isn't the best decision. You understand what we're saying? We don't feel like you're ready to part from this. We think that you're just wanting to say to the universe, if it's not going to work, then I'm just going to let it go and do something else. But you've got a lot of momentum already coming to you. And that's why those things that you feel are circling around are circling around. They wouldn't be circling around if you weren't in the vicinity of them. So why not just enjoy watching them come to fruition?
I want to, and I want to continue to squeeze the joy out of the business because it...
Well, you have to squeeze it out. That's too hard of work.
Okay.
There's enough of it there that satisfying things just can occur to you all the time. We encourage looking for easy existing matches. Don't try to make a match out of something that isn't a match. That just makes you resistant and defiant, and that never works. Just look for the aspects of anything that feel good easily. For example,
we have awesome clients, and their projects that we create for them are so exciting and fulfilling.
Wow.
And that creative outlet, I know it feeds me and it feeds the whole team.
Yeah, life-giving.
Yeah, and
You really don't have to go much further than that because that was big. Don't misunderstand us. We're not saying take something that doesn't feel good and make it feel good. That's hard. That's like saying, I want to be up on that hill over there, and I see the path, but before I go up there, which is really where I want to go, I'm just going to dig a hole over here and crawl in it, and then I'm going to crawl out of it, and then I'm going to go up the hill.
that's what I did for 10 years.
And we say, just don't get in the hole anymore. Don't dig it. Don't look for a hole to get in. Just take the path of least resistance. Yeah, you're right there. From our vantage point, we don't know what your problem is. But then we haven't been focusing on your problems. We're not saying they don't exist, and we're not saying you're not validated or that you're making stuff up. We're just saying there are enough easy existing matches for you to focus on. That if you just said, never mind what's happening, comfort, comfort, comfort. Oh, this could be so good for all of you, no matter what it is you're working on right now. So just hear this. It might fit and it might not. So just feel it for a minute. I'm talking to you, though. So it is what it is. This is what is right now. And I'm not going to make any changes right now. Because if I make a change right now, it'll be to try to get rid of something that's bothering me, so it'll just get more bothersome. So action isn't my answer. So I'm not going to take any action right now. But what I am going to do is find a way to adjust my comfort knob. Not going to change anything. I'm just going to feel better about what is. Ooh, can you hear that? I'm not going to take an action. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to sell. Not right now. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to take any action. I'm going to stay, and these are my choices. I'm going to stay and be miserable. That's big exaggeration because you're not miserable. I'm going to stay and be miserable. I'm going to stay and find reasons to feel good. Translate that into something that's going on with you. Like, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. Well, I'm going to jump off a bridge. I'm going to rob a bank. There's no action that you can put into place right now. So you are where you are. And while you're where you are you going to be unhappy or happy? Are you going to be worried or are you going to be appreciative? Are you going to find fault and be critical, or are you going to count your blessings? In other words, often you are in a corner where there's no action for you to take because you've been doing this, and so nothing's lighted up for you in terms of what to do, but there's plenty for you to do about how you feel, which is everything. Because once you shift your point of attraction, everything around you shifts. Everything looks different, and we're not just trying to get you to be happy in your head so that you don't notice how crappy your life is. That's not what we're teaching. We're asking you to get happy in your head so that your life can match that happiness. The universe is not going to trick you. Oh, now you're happy. It's just going to stay miserable, but you won't know. You're not going to succeed. You're just going to not be miserable about it. That's not what's working. People really think that you're really conspiracy theorists, you see. Most people are to some extent. And if you knew the conspiracy that was working on your behalf, if you have any idea how much you're seen and how much you're noticed and how much you're known and how much is moving on your behalf, how many plans are made for you from your inner being's perspective, given what your inner being knows about you. Oh, there are conspiracies, but they're all working for you, not one of them against you.
So I've been practicing the last few weeks, and it's felt really good because it's a little seasonal, and right now it's slower. So I've been going to long lunches and seeing friends during the workday and doing work that I enjoy and not doing the things I don't really want to do. And I've been really having a wonderful experience and feeling slightly like, am I completely taking my eye off the ball?
So think about that from the aspect of the placemat process that we talked about earlier. You're saying on your list, I'm going to go to lunch, and while I'm there, I'd like the universe to take care of these details. As opposed to, I'm going to lunch because I'm a bad, heartless, lazy girl. No, I'm going to lunch. I'm going to lunch because I'm hungry, and it's social, and it's fun. I'm going to lunch, and while I'm at lunch, take care of these things. Attract the business. Improve the economy. Take care of the stuff that's not any of my business. Get it ready for me. Like you said you would when I decided to come into this body. It was all ready for you. It was all ready for you, and it still is. It was ready for you when you decided to come, and it still is. You just got to expect your blessings and watch for them. It's really true of you. It's true of Esther. It's true of a lot of you. You're trying so hard to do your part, to fulfill your responsibility, that sometimes you get into a comparative place where you're wondering what others are doing. It's like, really? Esther will be really digging into something, and it just seems like one day the elevator would go down, it just wouldn't come back up. Well, that's a problem for Esther. She's got suitcases and a bag of garbage because the garbage chute wasn't working either. There were problems in the building. They've all been resolved, but there were problems in the building that made Esther feel put upon. If you guys were doing what you're supposed to do, my life would be going the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, that'll get you nowhere. But if instead you say, stuff happens, and I can't fix the elevator. It turns out she could. She knew what to do. She called a handyman that she'd met earlier that day, and she said, I know what to do. Do you know where the room is? He said, yes. She said, go to that room, and I got a friend who can guide you, because she's got a really smart friend that knows about stuff like that. And when the elevator didn't work, she called a friend. She said, our elevator's not working. The fobs aren't working. It'll go down, but it won't come up. I think that it has something to do with the fob thing. Is there a way that we could just unplug the fob thing, whatever it is that's talking to the fob, so it just works like a normal elevator? Yeah, it's easy. They just have to unplug this. And Esther thought, so what's the path of least resistance? To have a perfect elevator that only lets people go where they're supposed to go, or an elevator that goes up and down? What's the path of least resistance? And Esther thought, well, I think the elevator should just work. They can fix that other thing later. So she called her friend, who called her friend, and he unplugged the thing, and the elevator went up and down. And Esther thought, answers come easily when you've got a friend upstream, yeah? Yeah? And you do. Enough? Really good.
Thank you so much.